Hello everyone, I am Third Mario Brother, and welcome back to Sonic Adventure 2.
You're no match for me.
As I'm sure you all remember from the last episode, we attempted to trick Dr. Eggman by giving him a fake Chaos Emerald instead of the real one, but unfortunately it didn't work, and Eggman was actually able to trap Sonic in a capsule in the center of this room and launch him off into space, afterward exploding it, so we don't know if Sonic's okay or if he's dead or what's going on. Fortunately, though, Sonic tasked us with the task of defeating Dr. Eggman and carrying out the plan, and we will do just that. Bravery has been incited in this two-tailed fox, and it is a powerful force, let me tell you.
I feel some strange energy. Hey, Sonic!
Whoa, I wasn't sure if I could pull that one off. Somehow I managed to use the Chaos Control.
Chaos control? Are you okay?
I'm worried about Tails and Amy. I hate to ask, but could you help them? This is our last chance. I got it. Or if the cannon fires, I'll slam dunk it in there.
And yes, thankfully and a bit unsurprisingly, it seems like Sonic has survived and has one final mission, which is Stage 16, the Final Rush. And that, my friends, is the power of being a main character. Anyway, Final Rush is the last stage that Sonic plays and the last stage of the hero story as well, so we are quickly approaching the end of the first half of this game, which I think is awesome. But before I begin explaining what Final Rush itself is all about, I wanted to mention a little bit about that Eggman vs. Tails boss fight, because there wasn't a whole lot of time to explain everything back there. Basically, it's the same as the first Eggman vs. Tails fight that we had on Prison Island, but this time around, after Eggman gets hit a couple times, he unlocks new attacks, such as shooting a bunch of homing missiles at you, which I don't think he did this time around, and shooting a gigantic blue laser in your face, which is super, super dangerous because you can get caught in it, and once you do, it's kind of hard to get out of, so he can actually hit you more than once with that. Along with the fact that it does like a lot of damage to begin with, that makes it a really, really scary attack that you should avoid. So basically the strategy in that fight, focus on using your bullets rather than the homing missiles, because he seems quite adept at avoiding those homing missiles this time around. And when he shoots that laser at you, get in really close to him and pull a tight corner around him, and you should be able to avoid it reasonably well. And if you get hit by that thing, it might be the end of the battle, because like I said before, it is super powerful. Anyway, this is Final Rush, the last of the rushes, and I love this level so much. It is super speedy and super exhilarating, and saying that out loud, I feel like I've said that about pretty much every Sonic level so far, but you know what? I've really got no qualms about doing that, because every Sonic level in this game is super fun to me, and it is super exhilarating, and really speedy and really well done. And you know what? I feel like this is how Sonic should be done in 3D, and so I have nothing against saying that I like all the Sonic levels in this game. There is one thing about Final Rush that I don't really like. It's those vertical rail segment things right there, man. All you have to do is homing attack onto them to get some momentum going, and then you'll be able to get all the way up them, so it shouldn't be that hard in theory. But sometimes, homing attacking them, I feel like I hit the rail, but it just doesn't register, and so I don't go up it all the way, which is kind of annoying. Let's see if we can get it here. Yeah, there we go. I feel it works better if you homing attack like the very bottom of it, and just slide on up that way, but either way, I suppose it's not that big of a deal. So yes, Final Rush is pretty much a rail-based level, and as such, there are a ton of shortcuts that exist in this level that you can take and save a bunch of seconds. Actually, I have no idea how many seconds you save. Speedrunners, tell me down in the comments, or something, or don't, because if you're a speedrunner watching this Let's Play, you're probably pulling your hair out at this point. But either way, yeah, on long rail segments, like some of the ones that we had earlier, and maybe some of the ones later in the level, I'm not entirely sure, I don't remember the exact layout of this level, you can just jump downward and sort of risk your life and land on a rail that's like way lower down, and it can either speed things up or make it easier because you won't have to deal with a bunch of rails, and it's just really interesting because this level is so vertically huge, and I love that you can just skip stuff if you want. Either way, it also poses a threat because we are way, way, way above the earth, and oh my god, is that intense and scary or what? The vertigo that this level induces is just crazy, I think. And if you do end up falling, then you turn into a fireball and you crash down to earth. It's a little bit gruesome, actually, because Sonic literally lights on fire if you fall off the edge here. And he dies going down there. There's no implication that, like, oh, he survived and would have been able to get back up. Nope. Sonic is dead if that happens. Like, there is no doubt about it. Whether you've got rings or a shield or what, it does not matter. Either way, there are a bunch of multiple paths in this level as well. Not ones that are, like, super significant or anything like that. It's not that big of a deal that all these multiple paths exist, and yes, I'm skipping this thing on purpose for those of you who know where that spring takes you. But it's not that big of a deal that all these multiple paths exist, really, but it diversifies the level a little bit because it makes shorter segments a little bit different and a little bit more entertaining. Either way, scoot forward, can we make it? Yes, we can. Let's go ahead and bounce bracelet down onto these rails, and that's one of the most useful tools in this level, I feel, is the bounce bracelet. Go ahead and bounce when you're sitting in the air. I guess that doesn't really make very much sense, does it? But bounce bracelet down onto a rail, and you'll be able to accurately position yourself on the rail. Don't do it from, like, too far up above, though, because if you do, things will get a little bit difficult. And here we have another segment where a giant piece of debris is falling over us. It's just like the gun segment at the beginning. We are bringing stuff back to its roots. Unfortunately, we don't have quite as awesome music as we did in City Escape. But anyway, there we go. We have reached the end of Final Rush, and let's see if we can stop the Space Colony Arc from firing a giant laser of doom at the Earth.
That was cool!
You never cease to surprise me, Blue Hedgehog. I thought that capsule you were in exploded in space.
You know, what can I say? I die hard. You actually saved me, you know.
It was a Chaos Emerald, wasn't it? But there's no way you could have activated the Chaos Control using an emerald that's fake. So, there's more to you than just looking like me. What are you, anyway?
What you see is what you get. Just a guy that loves adventure. I'm Sonic the Hedgehog.
I see, but you know, I can't let you live. Your adventure days are coming to an end. Before this is over, I'll show you the true power of Chaos Control!
And here we are, finishing up the hero story with a fight against the ultimate life form, the ultimate weapon, Shadow the Hedgehog, who possesses all these chaos powers. And so, it's a really unlikely thing that Sonic would actually win this battle, but we are sort of racing against him down this straightaway, and there are meteors floating everywhere, which I believe if you run into those, they'll actually hurt you. But we can just go ahead and spin dash through this guy's back, and for the first couple of hits, that's all you really want to do with Shadow. I really like how they ended the game with this. I suppose it was to be expected because he was the character that sort of was like the main purpose of Sonic Adventure 2, was introducing this anti-hero or this villain or whatever in Shadow. But since the beginning of the game, he has been this mysterious entity that we know nothing about, but has been super powerful and super cool in that way. And now we are facing off against him to end off the game. And for the first couple of hits, you can just straight up spin dash into Shadow and everything is a-okay. But for the next couple, he will wisen up, and every time that you try to spin dash into him, he will jump out of the way, and you can't just jump into him like that because he's going to jump, and that will block your attack. So you have to be strategic in the way you go about this. So what you can do is wait until he launches a chaos attack, which we don't have access to, which is totally unfair, man. But yeah, wait until he launches a chaos attack. If you let him go a little ways ahead of you, he will stop moving, and then he'll launch his chaos spear, and we can jump right into his face, knock those rings out of him, and defeat the ultimate life form.
Sonic, I did it!
job, Tails.
Sonic!
Look outside.
Ooh!
And that, my friends, is the hero story of Sonic Adventure 2, and man, what an adventure, or at least half of an adventure it was. I love the hero story in this game, I love this game in general, and I'm not going to give my outright opinion on the game just yet, because of course we've only completed half of it. It's Sonic Adventure 2, look at the cover, look at all the trailers, look at basic Sonic knowledge. Everybody knows that there is another story to Sonic Adventure 2. There's another side to this coin. And yes, we get to play as all the villainous characters next in the Dark Story, which is going to be super awesome, I think. It tells pretty much the same story up until the very end, at which point things end a little bit differently. So it's sort of like the stories are together all the way up until the very end, at which point they diverge a little bit. But anyway, that was the hero story, and I really like the fact that the hero and dark stories are separated in this, because instead of just forcing information down our throats, we actually get to know why certain characters were in certain places at certain times. For certain. Either way, I really do like the fact that in the Dark Story, we're going to be able to see what relationship Shadow and Rouge and Eggman had with one another, and why we met up with them in the hero story at certain parts. But anyway, that was the first half of Sonic Adventure 2. I thought it was really fun, from the kart racing to the, I don't know, running around inside of pyramids and running around in space. I thought it was really awesome, and I cannot wait until the Dark Story. So, that was quite the ending, was it not? At the very last second, with less than a minute to go, Sonic made it to the Emerald Room and shut down the cannon, which was certainly a very satisfying ending when I was a little kid. But we saw Eggman's hand reaching out to grab that Chaos Emerald at the very end there, and I assume he's not doing it just to pawn off the Emerald so he can give up his life of crime and begin a life selling adult companion robots, so I wonder what he was doing with that. For some reason, Tails was just way too distracted by that walkie-talkie to realize what he was doing. So, Sonic Adventure 2, whether you consider the dark ending or the hero ending the canonical one, or whether it doesn't matter to you, is not over yet. So next time on Sonic Adventure 2, we are going to be playing through the first bits of the Dark Story, and then after that, we will see how this game ends for real. So, thank you all very much for watching this episode of Sonic Adventure 2, and I hope you all tune in next time for the beginning of the Dark Story, which is just as exhilarating, just as fun, and just as great as the hero story of Sonic Adventure 2. So once again, thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.
Eggman steals the research from a military base located on an island to the south. The military's top-secret weapon, Shadow, sealed in the space colony Park, the 7 Chaos Emerald. When all of the keys have been collected, world conquest will be at hand. Sonic Adventure 2, The Dark Side Story. Long live the Eggman Empire.